Well, good morning, you guys.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with SLR.
How are you guys doing today?
Oh, man, we're doing really good today. You know, just hanging out on the patio, in the shade, taking in the beautiful view.
You know, the funny thing is I don't think either one of us has gotten up on the actual main deck.
No, we've been too pooped.
And looked out.
We haven't climbed up into our cabin yet because we have to climb up there because, you know, there's no stairs and we didn't want to. The ladder is still over here.
No.
I mean, the logs are still in the yard. So we've been very tired. So
that thing
we haven't.
Whooped my butt,
Yeah.
man.
I can only imagine how much you were going through, especially with us already, you know, being whooped because of the holes and then like the goat pen area. I could only imagine how tired you were.
Dude, I knew it was going to happen. That's partly why I was on the team concrete, where I was like, man, I'm going to hurt my body. My body's going to be in some serious pain, either which way I look at it.
Yeah.
You know, which way is it going to be, you know? And, that thing whooped my butt, trying to hold that pole saw out and like steady and not have it come flying back at me and just like...
Yeah. It looked like it was a really hard job.
It was rough. I used every single part of my muscles in my back and in my arms and in like my upper neck portion and just like my lower back portion, like just trying to anchor yourself to a tree, you know, and trying to make yourself as sturdy as possible, but plus also like being a contortionist up there, trying to get the right angle.
Swaying with the tree as need be.
Oh, that was rough. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But I'm so happy that got done.
I'm super happy too. Now we don't have to worry about the Widowmakers. We don't got to worry about any of these storms coming up and ruining, you know, the deck on the cabin or falling into the cabin or our sheds or our animals, like nothing. We don't have to worry about none of that stuff. So it's a huge relief and definitely something that's been on our to-do list for quite a while now. And it does feel good to finally have it done.
Yes.
You know?
It feels a lot better to have this thing done.
Yeah.
Because that was a chore. And it's still...
It was a chore to film it too, believe it or not.
Gonna be a chore to clean up down there.
Did you guys catch how many angles there was? I was like working my magic. I told Gary, I said, well, baby, since you're on your own in the tree, I am going to give this video my best shot. I am going to hopefully create an epic that everyone will enjoy and we can look back from, you know, years from now and go back to, you know, remember there was a tree there?
No.
You remember when there was a tree there and how Gary had to take it down? So I wanted to do the tree justice. I wanted to do Gary justice and I want to do y'all justice, you know? And if I'm not physically working, well, then I'm going to be really giving it my all with the videos. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
I feel like you killed that video. That was
proud
a
of it.
really, really good video. And, you know.
Ooh, there's a bee on you. He's right there.
That's cool.
Buzz.
I don't care about the bees. I don't. As long as you ain't freaking out, they ain't going to get you.
Yeah, no.
I used to catch bees with my hand.
I just didn't want you to talk and him to like bust in your mouth.
No,
I have had that happen before where I was talking and a bee like flew into my mouth and like stung my mouth and that sucked.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Not bad. Anyway, squirrel moment.
Yeah, squirrel.
But it was, you did a great job, babe.
Well, so did you.
A really, really good job with that video. And it made it to where, you know, it was you kept it in line and you could literally watch every single limb come off that tree. And like, it was a great video.
You killed it.
That was a good video.
You did. Teamwork makes the dream work, babe. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm so happy that we were able to get that done. And that's a video that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy later on in our life when it's like, hey, I want to look back at this video. Because, you know, I'm not an arborist or anything else like that. And to be able to chop a tree like that makes me happy. I'm like, hey, I did it. All right.
I remember too, like Gary chopped his first tree down on this property.
Well,
so, I mean, to go from, you know, making your first wedge cut and chopping down your very first tree out here on this property to, you know, 3 years later, you can chop down a Goliath.
No.
I mean, that says something.
That was a
But it's one of those times where, like, you know, I know you get a lot of crap about it, but I've always said I don't mind it because I know that that's part of your personality. And also it's like, it's how you show you love, you know, It's part of how you show you love. But when you think things through and overthink things and like you're taking all the safety precautions and stuff, that's why I wasn't really afraid of you being in the tree. I was nervous for sure, but I had full trust and faith in you that you have thought this one through. And so I don't know.
Trust me, that one was many sleepless nights trying to think about how I'm going to tackle that tree.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, well, the only way I can do it is by work my way up and just taking little by little as far out as I can and work my way in.
Yeah.
And as much as I would have loved to be able to walk out on some of those limbs, I ain't walking out on one of those limbs when it's a dead tree. Like, no, I'm going to try to stay as close to the heart of the tree as possible and reach out. Limit off a little.
You took all your like life skills, you know, from the builds and then also from just life, you know, things that you like being able to be graceful because of your skateboarding experience. And then also your climbing and your wire rope and rigging experience that you had from your previous job and stuff. And just the stamina from, I'd say, the build is what it took for you to be able to get this done. And I'm really proud of you, Gary. You put all of those skills that you had in your back pocket, you pulled them out on the rainy day and used them just in the nick of time. So I'm really proud of you. And I knew you could do it. I never doubted you for a minute. Like, there was zero doubt in my mind.
I didn't have any doubt
that you were going to do it and you were going to do it safely. There was zero doubt.
I did. So I was thinking that something was going to hit the fence.
Yeah.
So I was thinking something was going to go wrong, right?
I was prepared for it.
And I did it.
Yeah, no, it was
I didn't hit anything.
It was fantastic.
I'm sitting there like
Go on, dust your shoulder off, baby.
There was one like that I was sitting there trying to chop, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, dude, if I get this thing, it's gonna freaking come back and smack me right in the head. Like it's literally leaning at me like this, and I was like, I was trying to get it, but the pole saw wasn't long enough. To be able to like reach in that one spot. So then I had to bring it back some, and I was like, man, I'm scared if like I chop this one wrong, it's going to tumble this way, you know, hop over the fence or something like that. And I was like, man, and we were able to get it somewhat, and then we were able to pull it down. That was that one that we pulled, and it went the way we wanted it to go instead.
That was a long one too. That was a
long one. And then the other leg where I was like, this thing's definitely going to hit the ladder and take out my ladder. And I'm going to have Melanie sort of fix the ladder down there probably. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm tied off up here. Worst case scenario, if I have to belay out of here, then I have to belay out here, you know, but at least I'll be safe. That was my biggest thing. And I still missed the ladder. I was like, oh yeah. But I have no idea what I'm doing, you know? I mean, I know a little bit of angles and everything else like that.
I was going to say, give yourself a little bit more credit. You do know what you're doing because you've researched and you have
researched, but I've never done it.
Out. I know. So,
you know, hands-on experience is one of those things where it's like
I guess this is one of those times. You can't
teach hands-on experience other than going out there and trying, you know?
I guess this is one of those times where you are allowed to say, I never had firsthand experience, but I knew what I was doing.
Yes.
Because you did know what you were doing, you just didn't have the first-hand experience. Now, you got both.
Correct.
So, I don't know, invaluable experiences, man. Like, our whole life out here on this property, there's so many experiences that we've had that we would have never, ever had, if we didn't come out here on this adventure. And I'm so happy that we've done it, and we're doing it continually, daily, you know?
I have to give us a lot of credit in where it is, though. You know, I mean, like, and a lot of it is the way of our life, you know, and I mean, it was before we got into the homesteading lifestyle and everything else like that, but it's 10 times more of it in the homesteading lifestyle. But what I'm talking about is not having the means to pay for somebody to come and fix something that is broken or anything else like that.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm not paying somebody to do that. I can figure it out and do it myself, you know, and if it screws up more, what's the worst case scenario? It's already broke.
So,
you know,
like, I'm the type of person where I always like to look to the positives, right? And I always like to look for, you know, what you can be happy about in terrible situations, right? And branching off of what you were talking about, right? There are, if you look at it this way, okay? Now, granted, you know, it's like, where does the scale, like, what's more? Was there more of this or more of this? But I'm just going to say it. There are some benefits to growing up and being in poverty. Yes. And one of those benefits is the resourcefulness. Usually your work ethic and drive. I mean, there's so many variables and like the reasonings why, right? But if you're just somebody who just did not have a silver spoon and you're young and you didn't come from anything and you had to kind of work for everything that you had, like most people, let's just say like most people, you experience poverty and you want more, so you work really hard to get more. And sometimes you have to do without, but you make do with other things. And that's where like Gary's thinking outside the box and stuff can come from. I'll just use this one for an example, right? So earlier on, you can actually see it on our channel on Simple Life Reclaimed, like when we first started doing YouTube. Now, we needed a wheelbarrow. I'll just use this as an example, right? We needed a wheelbarrow. We needed to move rocks around and stuff, and we needed it, but we had no money. Like we were struggling.
I had a wheelbarrow that, you know, that we bought, like,
but it was broken.
We got gifted to us for Christmas or something like that. I can't remember.
My mom got it for us for Christmas one year, but something it cracked and it broke.
It broke. It broke.
It broke. It was a plastic wheelbarrow and it got a crack down.
I done tried to fix it like 6 times already, and it was broke.
So, anyways, what I was getting to is, you know, we had a frame, but we didn't have any kind of barrel or anything for it, and so we had to be a little bit use our ingenuity, right, and kind of think outside the box. We didn't have the means to go and purchase and replace it at that time. We had, you know, 3 very young children, 1 income household, and the income was a low income. You know, that's just how it was. It was like, and even though you were in management and stuff, it's just still how it was, you know? And so I'm not complaining. I'm saying this to inspire and also to possibly get other people to think that way, because I feel like sometimes people with lesser means will have the ability to open their mind to see the possibilities and things and how to replenish and refurbish, where if you don't, I'll just buy another one. And we get into that mindset too sometimes, like with certain things, it's, do you have the time? Time is money, right? So like, do you have the time to spend on making the thing, or would it be more beneficial for you to go buy the new thing? But I always like it better when we make the thing. And maybe that's partly because of our upbringing, but I feel like it's because in some sort of way, I'm an artiste, okay? I'm an artiste. And in some sort of way, it allows us to creatively express ourselves and also accomplish something that needs to get done. So it's like mutually beneficial. It scratches that itch of the creative for me. But it also gives us something that we need and that we're using. And then you get the satisfaction of like, oh, it was so cheap.
No.
Like, I'm not the person that goes shopping and then like has a new shirt or an outfit or something and then is bragging like, yeah, this shirt cost me $80. No, I'm the one that goes to like the bargain bill and is like, I got 10 for 50 cents. Yeah. Like, that's 10 of them for 50 cents, bro. And like, So that's just me. You know, it's just always been me. But anyway, I don't know why I squirreled off on that whole thing. It's because I was branching off of what you were talking about. Yeah. You know?
But it's very true. I mean, like, so like our AC, like when we first bought our house in Arizona, before YouTube, before anything else, right? Like, we've always been in the mindset of like, try to fix it ourselves or try to find a way that we can replace it, right? Yes. And like our AC broke. We had insurance on the house and everything else. We literally just bought the house. It was like a month after we moved in. Exactly. And the AC goes out. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me right now.
And of course.
You know? And we call up the insurance company. We try to deal with all this other, you know, rigmarole back and forth. And no, of course, the insurance isn't going to cover the AC. The AC repair is going to be like $7,000. And we're looking at it like,
there's no way we can afford that.
There's no way. What? Like, so, you know, thankfully your dad had a swamp cooler and was like, hey, you guys can have the swamp cooler, you know? And I was like, sold, let's take that guy, let's go put that guy in and everything. And we got it in there, and it saved us so much more money
Yeah.
in our power bill, because we went to the swamp cooler versus the AC. And being in the desert, you can use a swamp cooler, but out here,
No.
it won't work because of the humidity.
The humidity level is too high. Your house would just be condensating.
So,
Everything would be wet, and it would
be
ruin all
bad.
your electronics and mold, and it wouldn't work out here. But in
No.
Arizona, it works out really well.
Works out great.
Very, very well.
Except for the one day out of the year that it does rain. It don't
When you have a
work that
monsoon.
day. But
Yeah.
anywho, it saved us a whole bunch of money
Yeah.
in the long run. Like every which way you could think of. So it was like no brainer to us of like, yeah, we're going to go that way.
Yeah,
You
if
know?
we need something done, it's always been apparent to us that if we need something done, or if we need something, that it's nobody else's responsibility to give it to us. It's our responsibility to learn how to do the thing, or to learn how to make the thing, or
fix the thing.
or whatever. That's always been our life. And I don't expect that to ever change. And honestly, I
No.
would never want that to change.
If it's broken, right, and you go to try to fix it, and you fix it, you just fix something that was broken,
Yeah,
right?
it makes
But
you feel good.
if it's broken and you can't fix it and make it work again, it's still broken at the end. It doesn't matter if what
Yeah.
you did to it. It's still broken. So
True.
if you can't get it to go, then at least you got to learn and deep dive a little bit more into it.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's how Gary has learned to do everything that Gary does.
No.
And that's how I've learned how to do everything that I do. It's a continual cycle of trial and error, and trial and error, and trial and success.
Correct.
And if we can do it, I swear, you guys, I don't care how old you are, how rich you are, how poor you are, I don't care what your life's circumstances are. Because there is like the saying goes, if there's a will, there's a way. There's
Correct.
always a way.
Correct.
Just might be the long road sometimes. There might be the trail that cuts right through the mountain, and instead you got to go like around and back and through, and then and there you are.
East Coast roads versus West Coast roads.
Yeah, but you'll
Oh,
get
man.
there. You'll get there.
Side note on that one. I didn't realize how true that statement was until I went to the east side.
Yeah, you went to
of
Connecticut?
And I was like, oh, the shop that I need to go to get this supply and everything is literally just on the other side of this hill. I should be able to go grab that and be right back in like 20, 30 minutes, No, it took me like 40 minutes to go all the way around the hill just to get to the store, and then another 40 minutes to come back. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then in Arizona and everything else, the roads are so straight. They see a mountain or a hill, and there's like, blow it up.
That's what they
We're
do.
going straight through it.
Yep. On the West Coast, they like their dynamite, they like their tannerite, and when they're putting in the roads, they're like, oh, here's point A and point B, but there's a mountain in the way, screw that mountain. And they go right through it. We're over here in the South, I've noticed too, they go around, they don't really cut through.
A lot of it, you got to think too, though, right? Because
Yeah.
I researched it when I
course
was
you
out
did.
there, because I was all,
Of
what in the
course you
world?
did.
I'm all, why is it?
Of course
And it's older roads.
Yeah.
The east side of the United States have all the old infrastructure.
Yes.
That's where all the history
Yes.
comes from of the United States. Further west you go, the more earlier day and age it is. You know what I mean?
More modern, you
Or
mean.
more modern
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes. I
But,
hear you. No, I
so
get you.
it's-
Yeah.
It is what it is, yeah. And out there's a lot of gold mines too, and everything else, to where they had a lot of dynamite on hand.
Oh, in the West? Yes. Yes, they did.
So,
At least where we were from. Like our
Yeah.
actual little town that we lived in
was a mining town.
was a mining town. They used to mine gold and stuff there. There was actually a bunch of
I
old
think it was-
mines and stuff there.
I think it was 1819 that was founded.
I believe
Something
so.
like that.
It was the early 18s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's some cool history and stuff there,
No.
And I loved our time out there, but I am loving our time out here
1918.
even more.
Yeah.
It
was
Excuse me.
definitely crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie, but that's what makes it to where that kind of stuff. I'm not too worried about it, because I'm in the mindset of problem solving, which is something that a lot of people aren't used to this day and age, when the internet is so available, you know what I mean? To where people don't have to go through the rigmarole to try to figure out, okay, this book says this about this thing. This book says this thing about this thing. And now I've got to combine those two and get my knowledge out of those two books to make that one true thing. Right? Online, you have so much different resources to everybody, but yet still people don't use online to even research certain things. Yes and no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, they have an issue with something and they don't go online to really check it, even though online is now that you have so much ease to be able to figure out exactly what's going on.
You know what I feel like it is, truly? I feel like it's a conditioning not to trust yourself.
Correct.
That's honestly what I feel like it is. I feel like people have been conditioned, for a very long time, not to trust ourselves.
Yes.
That there is somebody smarter. There's somebody that can do it better. There's somebody more knowledgeable. And why are you going to even try? Because you're going to mess it up.
No.
I feel like if we could break through that conditioning and teach ourselves to trust ourselves and also teach other people to trust yourself, I feel like a lot of that would kind of go away. But that's where, we beat the self-reliant mantra. We're trying as best as we can in this day and age, right? It's just like, a lot unless we were to go completely super radical and be 100%, be a complete wild man, There
has to be limits to yourself, right? But at the same time, don't limit yourself to such a small aspect.
Yes.
Broaden your limits. Always push those limits and try to see what else, because you would be surprised on what you were able to do.
Yes. Yes. It's true. It's so true. And that's one thing that I hope that we are successful at passing on to our children. Who knows? Kids, when they grow up, I have my own mind. My parents, they have their minds. I have my minds.
Yep.
My loved ones, have theirs too. And I take things that I appreciated from their passing down to me, and I get rid of the things that I don't. And I know my kids are going to do the same thing. They're going to take things that they appreciate for themselves for whatever reason, and they're going to discard what they don't. I just hope that one of the things that they keep, that I'm able to keep in them and have them, is that self-sufficientness and the trusting themselves that, hey, I can make right decisions. I can make, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And I don't know. I just wanted to touch base on that.
We touched it.
It's honestly, it's something that I hold true and dear to my heart, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly because that's always how I've been. If I wanted something or needed something or anything else like that, figure out if I can make it myself.
Yeah. I was like that too. And it was mostly out of necessity. You know what I mean?
Necessity, but it's even out of want,
yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of times where it's like you want something, but yet you don't have the means to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have to figure out certain ways, one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
But as a kid, I always wanted to have a treehouse. And I made myself a little tiny something as a kid.
You put a 2x4 in a tree.
I put a 2x4 in a tree. A piece of plywood.
Made a stoop.
Made a little stoop, right? But I remember that. And it was a fond memory as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to go down the creek and doing all that kind of stuff. But
in Idaho.
Yeah. It was sad. That was sad when I walked back there as an adult. And the tree is gone. Everything's gone. The farm is gone. It's all houses everywhere else. And I was all... Everything's changed. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Well,
my 90s childhood.
It's gone.
Man.
I know. In comes corporate America.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, at least for our kids, they'll have this 4136 that they can keep and have for their kids, and so on and so forth.
That they will. That they will.
That's our hope, is that it stays in the family, you know. But again, when we're dead and gone, the torch is passed.
No.
You know, which actually I think tomorrow, maybe if I remember, we'll go on a whole torch passing rant, because we were actually talking with Jen and Wiley. They came over yesterday and had a really nice fellowship time and meal with us.
No.
It was very, very nice to be able to hang out with Jen and Wiley and the kids, you know.
That was a great time.
Yeah. We did some readings and stuff with the kids and the family, and we had a nice spaghetti dinner. She brought over a gorgeous salad this big with all the homemade dressings and stuff. It was so good. And I did homemade garlic bread. And anyway, I swirled off. We were talking about passing the torch amongst the generations, and there's so much that I can say about it, and at least my point of view and perspective of it. And I think that it would be a really good real talk just to deep dive into, and have, I guess, a real talk be a little bit different from the normal of like what we got going on and what's da-da-da, just to have that be a topic that we converse about. And I think tomorrow would be a good one. But essentially, we're going to deep dive into how society and the generations, and the last generation that's still alive right now is the war babies, which would be like my dad's generation, also known as the greatest generation, the generation above the boomers, which is also above Gen X, which is also above the millennials, and then the Gen Zs, and now the Gen Alphas. All of which those generations, there are people that are presently living right now in all of those generations. And I guess the torch of power and or influence and or how society and people are run, there's so much that we can deep dive into this. And the passing of the torch, and who's fumbled the ball, and why, etc. So we'd love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on that. If you guys aren't interested in it, well, then that's fine too. But I think that it would be something really cool to talk about, especially being, you know, that we are striving to reclaim the simple things in life. And where that mindset kind of originated from was, you know, the greatest generation. So anyway. We're going to get out of here. Gary and I got an appointment to do today out in Fort Smith. We're going to go get that snap, crackle, pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We're going to get to feeling a lot better, hopefully soon. This week is going to be a very busy one for us as far as work getting done around the homestead. We are hoping, our goal, and we will let you know throughout the week how the progress is being made and what's happening when and all that. But we're hoping that this week, not only are we going to fill the holes with the concrete and get that settled over at Camp Life so it can get curing, but we are also hoping to start on the mudroom. I'm so excited, friends. Oh, it's going to be so cool. We're hoping to finally get that started and laid out and lined up. Everybody will get kind of an idea of how things are going to roll over there. And I know progress, once we get going on that, it's going to start boop, 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 boop. So
it's really not going to take a whole lot of time or effort to get that thing done. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice.
So it's the very beginning of a busy, beautiful week. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this morning here on Real Talk with SLR. We'll be back with another episode, possibly doing that deep dive tomorrow. If you guys are interested in it, we'll talk with you guys more about that then. But I wish you guys have a absolutely wonderful day today. Stay blessed, my friends. And until the next one, we love y'all and we hope you have a good one.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, you guys.
Later.